This is Gene Montrose-Telling. Welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 525, originally aired February 23rd, 2022. Hey everyone, I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Today we're going to talk about and tap for those times where we struggle to be kind and gentler with ourselves, and this actually came out of some tapping that I was doing for myself last week. Before we do that, two quick announcements. Number one, we have a free 10-part guide on how you can use tapping to eliminate self-sabotage. All you need to do is go to tappingqa.com, click on the big blue button, and every single day for the next 10 days, I'll send you one small, simple tool that you can use to eliminate self-sabotage. Then at the end of 10 days, you can choose the one or two tools that work the best for you so you can use them over and over again. Secondly, I'd like to send a big shout out and thank you to all of the supporters of the Tapping Q&A podcast. They make it possible so you can receive this particular audio absolutely free of charge. A big shout out to Linda. Linda is the most recent supporter of the Tapping Q&A podcast. Because Linda is supporting, she gets some awesome, amazing bonuses for that support. If you would like to be like Linda, support the Tapping Q&A podcast and receive some amazing bonuses for doing so, all you need to do is go to tappingqa.com/support. That's tappingqa.com/support. Last week, I was doing some of my daily tapping, and sometimes I tap without words, and sometimes I tap on a really particular issue. And on this particular day, I was doing some tapping around the weight that I have gained over the course of the last year. It's not a huge amount of weight. It's 6 or 7 pounds, and I'm working with a trainer, and I'm working it off. But I also recognize my own frustration with the fact that I just had a little extra belly fat. And so what I was doing, like I am wont to do in that particular circumstance, is I was doing some parts work where I was tuning into my system and I was tuning into the fat to see why it was there. And I got this sensation that the reason why it was existing was it was a form of protection. It was trying to insulate me from something that was in the world that might be dangerous for me. And as I was thinking about that, the first thing that I did, like I normally do, is I did a little tapping around the idea of, I appreciate the fact that this part of my system is trying to keep me safe. It is creating insulation to protect me, even though keeping a little extra belly fat isn't actually going to keep me safe. I appreciate the fact that this part of me is working so hard to keep me safe. Very standard, very straightforward, the way that I would normally tap for a part that is over-functioning. And the moment I finished tapping on that, there was another part of me that is, I could feel being in charge of my health and well-being, and it was not buying that tapping. There was this little internal part of me that was saying, no, we do not appreciate the fact that this part of your body is holding this extra weight. It is unhealthy for you to be holding this extra weight, and this part of you is being unuseful. Which I think is the most honest response I have ever gotten from one of my parts. Because oftentimes when we tap on something along the lines of, I recognize the fact that this part is trying to be helpful and it's not, on an intellectual level, if we understand the transformational process at all, we can see how that is a true and valid approach. And at the exact same time, I am tired of the parts of my system that are not functioning properly. I am tired of them having good intentions, but not actually creating good outcomes. And so there are times in which we want to be gentle with ourselves and gentle with our parts, and we are not capable of being gentle with ourselves or being gentle with our parts because the problems that those parts are creating. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little tapping for the what feels like lip service that we are occasionally paying to wanting to love and support our parts, and the frustration that comes along when that doesn't happen. So tap on the side of your hand, take a nice big deep breath for me. And just move from tapping point to tapping point, repeating after me. On an intellectual level, I understand how each of my parts are trying to keep me healthy. I understand how they're trying to keep me safe. And at the exact same time, I'm tired of the transformation being slow. I'm tired of parts of my system dragging its heels. I'm tired of being easy and gentle with myself. Because I don't want to be easy and gentle with myself. I want to be better. I want to be healed. I want to be transformed. I want to let go of the things that are no longer useful. I give myself permission to intellectually understand that my parts are doing the best that they can. I also give myself permission to be frustrated by the fact that my parts aren't actually changing. I give myself permission to be frustrated at the slowness of my healing pace. I give myself permission to be frustrated with the fact that this is not going as planned. And I don't want to live in that frustration. I don't want to be defined by that frustration. I don't want to be acting out of frustration. But my frustration is speaking to the fact that I want better. That I want more. That I want to be healed. I want to be transformed. I want to be healthy. The frustration is rooted in wanting better. Just like these slowly moving parts are rooted in wanting for me to be better. I give myself permission to be gentle with myself for all of those times where I have a really hard time being gentle with myself. I give myself permission to be frustrated, and I give myself permission to release that frustration. Even when my parts are battling, they're all on the exact same team. Even when my parts are frustrated, they only want what is best for me. I give myself permission to be easy with myself, even when I'm not being easy with myself. Nice big deep breath, give me a big stretch. And I understand how that's kind of a meta version of tapping, where we're tapping about an issue that we're tapping about an issue that we're struggling with an issue. But like I said, I experienced it firsthand, and I think it's good for us to be able to acknowledge that even though intellectually we understand the process, that we're allowed to be frustrated with it. Because if I tamp down and I ignore that frustration, then I'm doing myself a disservice and I'm going to slow the healing process. So I really encourage you to go back, tap through this one more time, just tune in and recognize the fact that you want what's best for yourself and you're frustrated at the rate that transformation is happening. And both of those things are good. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. You can always drop me a note at support@tappingqna.com. I am the support team, so if you send the email there, I will be the one who gets it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you know someone in your life who would appreciate a little conversational tapping like this today, maybe someone in your life who has experienced and expressed the frustration with the fact that they're not transforming as quickly as they would like, pass this along. Don't spam your inbox, but there might be one or two people who really appreciate this today. And if you reach out to them and say, hey, I was thinking of you today, even if they don't hit play, even if they never click the link, the fact that you sent them an email saying that you're thinking of them today, they're really going to appreciate that fact, and it will make a difference, and it'll be worth the 30 seconds it takes you to pass this along. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast in podcasting parlance. Subscribe is free. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Audible, Amazon Music, basically everywhere you find audio online. Just search for Tapping Q&A. Make sure you click on the subscribe or follow button, depending on the platform you're in. And more importantly, turn on those notifications so every single time a new episode comes out, you are notified right away. If you got a question, a comment, a guest you'd like me to interview in the future, a topic you'd like me to cover, I'd love to hear from you. Again, just drop me a note at support@tappingqna.com. I'm getting ready to do a bunch of interviews here in the spring that I'm going to share with you. I know you're going to love, but some of the best interviews that I've ever done have come from guests I did not know about until you recommended them to me. So please reach out. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, is Gene Montrastelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrastelli Tapping Q&A. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrastelli and Tapping Q&A.